It appears everyone has gathered at the starting line. Please relax yourselves, talk with the other races, and wait for a few more minutes. The Jade Emperor will appear to explain the rules shortly. And just like that, the voice cut off. Appear? Does that mean the perpetrator is going to come to us in person? I guess that settles the debate, though. Like hell it does. I don't know how this changes anything. Dragon, please. I understand your frustrations. They're perfectly natural. However, I believe if you take some time to reflect... I have been reflecting, and I've reflected that I want to get the hell out of here. But don't you think it'd be better to face this head-on instead of trying to run away? I ain't running away from anything. Of course. I'm just saying it sounds like whoever brought us here is going to be showing up shortly. Don't you want to meet with this punk face to face? You know what? You're right. How about this asswipe shows his face in front of me? How about that? Well, I'm glad that's been settled. With Dragon placated, the group started to fan out and make themselves at home. It sounded like we'd be waiting for a little bit more, after all, and everyone needed to chill out. I decided to sit down and take a deep breath. All this stress was messing with my head. After I'd calmed down a bit, I decided to head over and talk to some of the other captives. Nearby, I overheard Tiger, Bunny, and Rooster having a discussion about the kidnapper's intent. Ox, Dragon, and Monkey, however, were discussing how to fight back against our captors. Pig and Horse, meanwhile, were discussing the food and drink problem. On the other side of the cafeteria, I saw a dog asking Sheep about something. I also saw Snake sitting by himself at a chessboard. He seemed to be studying it with some fascination. So I was left with a choice. Who to talk to? Let's talk to Snake first. What was fascinating Snake so much about the chessboard? I had to know, so I walked over to ask him about it. Hey, Snake. Ah, Mouse, a pleasure for you to join me. I noticed that you're not talking with any of the others. What would the point of that be? I don't know, to pass the time, I guess? I am passing time just fine on my own. I suppose you are. So what's the deal with this chessboard? I'm just admiring this game board. The game is only partways through, so it's in a place where I can make some presumptions about the moves leading up to this point. I take it you play? On occasion, yes, not as much as I'd like to. Yourself? My father taught me the basics, but it's been a couple of years since I've actually played a game, and even then I only played casually. Respectable enough. Games are to be enjoyed, yes. While there is more art in high-level play, there is oft more joy in low-level play. Say, do you know what makes a good chess player? You mean other than general chess skills? I believe general chess skills are exactly what makes a good player, yes, but I'm talking about something a bit more concrete than that. And obviously this is an opinion-based question, there's no real answer here. In that case, my father always said the trick to chess was to think a few moves ahead, get inside your opponent's head. But I guess a good chess player is someone who can think more steps ahead than the opponent. Close, Mouse, to my answer. Quite close. Well, what's your answer? It's the one who can first determine who will win the game. It's a decent answer. Huh? Chess is a perfect information zero-sum sequential game. In turn, this means it's a solvable game. While we're far from finding it, theoretically there are a perfect set of moves that will allow one side to win every time. Now, naturally we can't tell what that is because it's too complex. There are too many pieces. I'm not sure if there is a set of moves to allow a win 100% of the time. Though there probably is a set of moves reactive to what the opponent is doing to allow that. You know what I mean? Like, you can't just go, okay, I've got a list of moves and I will play this, and that no matter what the opponent does, and I'll win. I don't think that is a thing. I think that can't... can it? No, I think that can't work. However, there can certainly be sort of a guidebook, if you will, where you kind of go, okay, I mean, it would have to be a guidebook with like millions of pages, so like a theoretical guidebook, more like an online guide or something, or a document where you can just go, you can just have millions of pages, or more like a database actually, where you can just go, okay, this is the state of board, this is how the moves have been so far. If I played this move, well, or in this situation, this is the right move. And if I play the right move, if I follow this guidebook to the letter, if I play the right move every time, then I think there is a likelihood that that can be sort of a guaranteed win every time, no matter what your opponent does. Anyway, but with every piece that gets removed, finding the next perfect set of moves becomes easier and easier. And at some point, one of the players will realize that they can win no matter what. This is when the cockier players will say mate in 5 or something. But a truly magnificent player should be able to say mate in 10, mate in 15, mate in 25. God could say mate in 150 or some similar number at the very start of the game. I believe the most important skill is the ability to solve the game with plenty of pieces still on the board. Oh, well, that's an interesting way of thinking about it. Does that thought have anything to do with this game? Perhaps not, but perhaps so. That doesn't clear much up. Judging by this board, I can actually tell a lot about the two who played the game. For one, White is the far more experienced of the two, but that experience seems to manifest more in rote memorization than any natural intellect. It appears that White began with the Sicilian defense. This seemed to have worked fairly well too. Looking at the pieces taken, it's clear that White is quite a bit in the lead. And yet there's a curious detail to this board. Can you tell? It's that the king is knocked over, right? That's the universal symbol of surrender. Precisely. White seems to have given up the fight despite apparently having the lead. Looking at the board, I haven't been able to see any clear checkmates from Black, none in the low move count range at least. So I was thinking on a bit, and I had a thought. What if, despite not being the best player, Black is incredible at analysis? Even though it was her pieces she was losing, why did you assign genders to the two people that aren't here and you have no idea which gender they are? Either way. Once the game had proceeded to a certain point, Black was able to look at the board and solve it. After discovering how to make their victory surefire, now the genders are gone again. Black made a move or two to bring it closer to that undeniable mate. Then Black explained to White how, despite being behind them, that there's no sequence of moves White could make that, if Black responded perfectly, would lead to their victory. Having been schooled, White knocked their piece over in despair. Oh, that's incredible. Yes, it is indeed hardly credible, which is why the scenario of mine is likely pure fiction. The cause for White's surrender could be any number of things. Perhaps they got bored. Perhaps they were playing speed chess and White made the better moves but ran out of time. Perhaps there's some mate in 4 that I don't yet see. But you must admit my hypothesis is far more interesting. Snake reached over, turned White's king back up, then moved White's remaining bishop 3 spaces. Pointless, probably, but might as well continue the fight in White's stead. A shame Black's not here to play against you. A shame, if that's true. If that's true? Look over at the other chess table. You'll notice that there are no pieces present. As it happens, they're all properly placed in the shelf that slides out of the board. So what? That's the expected result. It's Thanksgiving break after all, and I'd imagine the school would clean up before closing down. That would mean cleaning up the chessboards as well and putting back these pieces. I guess that makes sense. So then why is this game unmoved? Because it was played after the school had already gone on break? Potentially by one of the 12 Zodiacs here. Potentially also by the Jade Emperor. I don't know, maybe they just decided not to clean it up. A possible explanation, but not a fun one. Perhaps, just something worthy of thought. With that, Snake went back to examining the board. His last words troubled me some, but I couldn't dwell on it. Right now, it was more important to keep learning about the other captives. Let's talk to Dog and Sheep. Neither Sheep nor Dog looked particularly upbeat, not that I could blame them. The two seemed to be having a rather bleak conversation at the side of the room, so I thought they could use some cheering up. Do you really think they're going to kill us? Who knows? We can only hope. Hey guys, what's going on? Not much. We're just talking about how we're probably going to die today. I thought you said that was just one possibility. Yeah, pretty likely possibility. Hey now, let's cut it with that sort of talk. I don't want to be like Tiger and say this situation is a good thing or anything, but if we start thinking negatively, things are just going to get worse. So what? If we start thinking positively, things are going to suddenly get better? They are? Okay, I'll start right now. Happy thoughts, happy thoughts, happy thoughts. I'm in a nice, comfy, empty bed with a nice cup of cocoa and a book and no scary collar on my neck. Sheep, I don't think you need to go that far. Let her try to delude herself if she wants. And while we're at it, how about you stop trying to make me cheer up as well, huh? What? I'm a pretty chilled out guy in most things. I'm not the type to intercede on someone else's account if it's not affecting anybody. And all I ask is that courtesy be returned in kind. If I want to sulk about being kidnapped, let me sulk. It's not your place to tell people how to cope. Oh, well, I'm sorry about that, Dog. I didn't mean to be pushy or anything. It's fine, I don't really care. Just don't do it again. So, Sheep, you said earlier that you're pretty sure that the 12 of us is everybody? Why did you think that? Oh, well, it's just a guess, but based on the animals here, I have to think that whatever is happening is based loosely on the Chinese zodiac animals. Zodiac animals? Oh yeah, I've heard of those. A patron of mine was talking about them a while back. Wait, patron? I run a bar. Didn't used to, but now I do. Get a lot of customers, most of which like to talk a lot. Anyways, if I remember right, every animal has a year. Like it's a 12-year circle or something, right? Sort of. It's true that having it be the year of the dragon or year of the snake is probably the most common place we'd hear of them. However, that's just the tip of the iceberg. Zodiac animals actually have a lot of cultural significance. What makes you think that this is inspired by the zodiac animals anyways? Well, for one, the 12 of our animal masks are exactly the 12 zodiac animals. Yeah, that's pretty compelling evidence right there. And also, the kidnapper called themselves the Jade Emperor, right? That's also a reference to the story of the zodiac animals, more specifically the zodiac race. I'm not familiar with that part of the legend. Okay, so the specifics of the story actually change around a lot depending on which version you're reading. A lot of old myths are like that. But the Jade Emperor is actually considered the person who held the race and the one who gave each of the fastest 12 animals their position. Oh, and by the race, I'm referring to the Zodiac race, which was apparently this big race where all the animals competed and the top 12 got places on the Zodiac calendar. The 12 fastest are the animals you see here, and the order is fixed, though how exactly the animal got their position is sometimes open to interpretation. For instance, it's generally accepted that the mouse finished first by riding on the ox, then jumping ahead at the end. But other parts, such as the dragon stopping to save villagers or the snake scaring off the horse, those alter from telling to telling. Wow, you're really knowledgeable at that. Jesus. You're really knowledgeable about this stuff. Thanks. I like to read these sorts of old tales. I actually recently became a librarian after leaving my old job. Although there's one part of the story that's been rubbing me the wrong way. Oh? Well, it could be nothing, just, basically, a lot of stories have it where there was actually a 13th contestant, the cat, who was disqualified because the mouse tricked them. That's meant to explain why cats hate mice. Oh, how naughty. I didn't know you had that sort of treachery in you, Mouse. I don't. I'd never. You know what? This isn't worth arguing. So why are you bringing this up, Sheep? Oh, no reason. I was just wondering if that aspect of the story had any significance, seeing as our captor seems to be emulating the story. Gotcha. Thanks for letting me talk about that, Mouse. I'm feeling a bit better now. There's no need to thank me for that. After all, you did most of the work there. Does talking with me make you feel worse? Because honestly, understandable. No, it's just... I don't know. I'm feeling like there's a lot of pressure right now. Chill out. Why are you feeling pressured? Why exactly are you so nervous? But because I got kidnapped by a mysterious person and now there's a bunch of strange people around and also there's a big scary metal collar around my neck. You know what? There. I'm not sure what answer you were hoping to get out of her, dear mouse. My talk with Sheep and Dog concluded, I looked around to see if there was anyone else to talk to. However, before I could talk to anyone else, an announcement was played over the speakers. I like that, by the way. You have the option to talk to anyone you want, but you can only choose two. Why would you have an option if you can talk to anyone? Or to everyone, sorry. Attention, attention. Attention to all animals present. Please take a seat, face the TV, and put on your animal masks. The introduction is about to begin. Introduction? I guess this is what they meant when they said the Jade Emperor will appear. It was just a streamed appearance. Figures. What? Are you fucking serious? What a load of bullshit. Come now. At this point, you might as well just go along with it and hear what they have to say. Why do they want us to put on our animal masks, though? Who cares? Let's just do it. Agreed. After a bit of commotion, everyone complied. We all sat in the various seats around the cafeteria and put the animal masks over our heads. Once everyone had done so, the television flickered on. There before us was the Jade Emperor, leaning back in a chair. I couldn't tell where he was sitting. The room behind him was too dark. However, it seemed that this was a live feed. The Jade Emperor wore a mask which completely covered his face, as well as a green hoodie, jeans, and some gloves. Don't forget about the butterfly tattoo. I couldn't help but notice that by his left hand I could see part of a butterfly tattoo sticking out. Yes, I will pre-empty the game at every opportunity I get. Welcome, one and all, to the Zodiac race, or rather, the Zodiac Trial. I am the host of this event. You may call me the Jade Emperor. You all, if you have not yet realized, will be the 12 Zodiac animals who will compete in my race. I knew it. You might ask why you are animals. There are a number of good answers to this question, but to put it simply, you all live your lives with the awareness of animals. You go about day to day without a goddamn care in the world. Peacefully moving onwards, never stopping back to reflect or apologize for your sins. Your murder. Sins? What are you talking about? Oh, don't even pretend you don't know, you filthy glory-hungry liar. You see, perhaps not all of you know it, but the 12 of you were the jury of a particular trial. Ah, that's the connection. Of course you weren't the actual jury, I don't blame them. What I mean is that each of you made selfish or stupid choices. Each of you were complicit. Each of you decided to help hang an innocent man for a murder he did not commit. And this idea you all have, that you just get to walk away from that and not look at what you've done, it's sickening. It's not fair. You all deserve a chance to be punished. You all must be tried. So this is what we're doing today. A Zodiac Trial. A trial? Do you mean to say there's going to be a case against us or something? Perhaps my word choice has given off the wrong impression. Initially, I had an idea more similar to that. However, I think instead we shall settle this with a race. A race fitting for the beasts you are. What are the rules for this race? Finally, someone is asking the proper questions. Please, take a look at this display. As you can see, your 12 animals are lined up on the left, going from top to bottom in the order they come on the calendar. 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. Just, what is that? Like, this is the mouse, that's the ox. Oh, the tiger, I see. I was thinking cat. The cat was somehow snuck in there, but yes, a tiger is technically a cat, so this is not a surprise that they look quite similar. You may also notice there are 24 spaces between the starting line for the animals and the end of it. The aim of this race is to use the tablets provided to move your animal to the finish line as quickly as possible. So that's what these are for. Before continuing, I think it would be pertinent to address a certain rule you all will likely find important. Each tablet may only be operated by its owner. Additionally, the owner must be alone in a room when using it. If you operate your tablet with another person in the room, or if someone else operates your tablet, you will be instantly executed. Executed? God damn it. A dismaying but expected announcement. What the fuck? Hey asshole, you think you can kill me that easily? Oh, but I can. For you see, each of your necklaces are outfitted with a devious device. At the mere push of a button, knives on the inside of the collar will come out, cleanly slicing your necks open, leaving you to die. How does it feel, knowing that just like that you could be executed, dead? Feel fun? Is it enjoyable for you scum? So we're going to die? No, you'll only push that button if we break your rules, right? There's a bit more to it than that, but you're right in that I won't kill you for no reason. There'd be no point to any of this as if I was just a senseless murderer. No, I guarantee that if all of you behave appropriately, every single one of you can leave here alive. So what else do we gotta do to survive? The race will consist of 12 rounds. If no animals are able to get to the finish line at the end of the 12th round, all of you will be executed. Every round will last 45 minutes. All participants must take an action within those 45 minutes. If a participant does not take an action during a round, they will be executed. At the end of the round, the animals take their actions in order from the top of the screen to the bottom. Using the tablet, there are a few available actions to choose from. All animals are able to simply run. Choosing to run will move your animal one space forwards. You may also choose to use your ability. Each animal has their own ability which can help them in the race. Be sure to click the information button to learn what your ability does. Participants are also allowed to confess once per game. If you choose confess, then at the end of the round when it is your animal's turn, you will be given an opportunity. You may use this 1-minute opportunity to give a meaningful confession to me. Afterwards, I will rate the effectiveness of the confession and your animal may move anywhere from 0 to 5 spaces. What is that ranking judged on? Are you looking for most surprising, worst thing done, most emotionally delivered? What's the deal? I'm under no obligation to tell you that. Try it out for yourself if you're so curious. Finally, you can also choose to use an item. Throughout the school, I've hidden some things of practical use as well as items to be used in the race. The physical item will have a passcode on it. Input the passcode into your tablet to use it. Only one participant may use any given item per round. There are a total of 24 items in the school, a minor and major trinket for each animal. All animal minor trinkets are the same. Using it will move you a number of spaces equal to the number of other animals who used a minor trinket that turn. For example, if you use the mouse minor trinket by yourself, you'll move 1 space forward. However, if you use the mouse minor trinket, a friend uses the ox minor trinket, and 2 enemies use the tiger and bunny minor trinkets, you'll all move 4 spaces. I've also noticed calling the ox a friend and the others enemies there. Mind elaborating that? On the other hand, the major trinkets each have their own effect. You'll have to figure out what they do by finding them yourselves. Even though each animal has a minor and major trinket based on them, they're not exclusive to said animal. So if Dog wanted to use Pig's minor trinket, that's totally allowed. Cheh, What a childish game for us to stake our lives on. It really makes you all seem small in comparison, doesn't it? Anyways, that is the essence of this race. At the end of each round, after all the animals have taken their actions, if any animals have made it to the finish line, the race will end. Those at the finish line will have their collars automatically unlock and everyone else will be executed. No. What, seriously? How you choose to run the race is up to you. So what that means is technically if all 12 of us make it to the finish line in the same turn, we all escape. Oh god, that is going to be tricky. Who knows, maybe you'll all make it out alive. Although if I had to guess, the slowest third will end up dead. Either way, I'll be satisfied. I truly do hope you let your true colors fly. Open up your hearts and think of this as Anubis's feather. Will you pass peacefully or be devoured? Let judgment fall blindly and wisely. Round 1 begins now. And with that final confusing message, the speaker cut off and he left us to panic and squabble on our own. The threat of death now officially loomed over us. My mind went blank. I could feel my face flushing, somehow hot and cold at the same time. My fingers were a jittery mess. This was horrible, scary, nonsensical. Who in their right mind would dress up like a character from some ancient legend and force people to play some stupid, confusing, arbitrary game with their lives at stake? It was so weird. It was so scary. And yet, I took a deep breath in and another out, and all of a sudden it all just flushed from my system. I was still scared and confused deep down, but the mind-numbing panic the others were in, that I was in a second ago, had left me. This was my greatest talent, something I inherited from my father. When the stakes are high, the chips are down. That's when fear chokes you. But I could choose not to feel it. It was a weird thing. It wasn't like I could just choose to not feel any other emotion. But fear, for some reason I had perfect control of it. For now, I had to survey the scene. People were freaking out just like I was. I don't want to die. Please, come on, Mr. Jade Emperor, we can work something out, can't we? Come back on the screen or something, I'm sure we can come to some kind of understanding here. What, you think you can kill me just because you got some fucking knives at my throat or something? Fuck you! And fuck your whole deal, I will mess you up. You're nothing more than a coward hiding behind a fucking desk. This can't be happening. Surely this is some sort of... No, but it can't be a mistake. Things were abundantly clear. Is this how I meet my end? As inelegantly as this? There must be some sort of mistake. If no one spoke up, they'd all likely be spinning their wheels for quite a bit. That was time I couldn't afford to waste. Hey everyone! Everyone needs to quit panicking and take a deep breath. With that, I got everyone's attention. Look, I know this really sucks, but it's not like we're doomed or anything. The Emperor himself said that if we keep our cool, all of us can get out of this alive. There's no reason to panic yet, everything's gonna be okay. But... Mouse is right, you all need to quit moping around. Who's gonna help, huh? No one. The answer's super simple, the only thing we've gotta do is cross the finish line at the same time before the 12 rounds. It's as simple as that. Is it really going to be that simple? It's hard to say at the moment. We may run into complications. However, Mouse and Tiger are right. We're far from being out of options. If we keep cool, it's fairly likely we can all get out fine. For now, we should all find separate rooms and check out our tablets. Specifically, knowing what everyone's individual abilities are may be useful. Sounds about as good a plan as anything else. Keeping inner peace at difficult times can be a struggle, but we must strive for it. Fine, for now we'll work together. It seemed as though the group was able to come to their senses together. Good, great. With this, things should be fine. There's no reason to panic. We all started walking off to separate rooms. Dragon, Snake and I walked down the left hallway. Still, who the fuck would want to put me in this bullshit? I wonder, could it be him? Before I could ask what Snake was musing about, he entered the library alone. Dragon entered the teacher's office to the left, so I went a little further and found a laboratory. After checking to make sure no one else was in the room with me, I tried turning my tablet on. Sure enough, I was brought to a fairly standard-looking screen. Usefully, the top right actually displayed the time left before the end of the round. There were a number of buttons. Run, action, confess, and item. And at the top there was an information button. That was what I wanted for now. I clicked on it and it brought me to a separate page. Personality clever? What did that mean? Whatever, it was probably some dumb flavor text this psycho had included. More importantly, I looked at the section titled Mouse Ability. Sneaky ride, huh? Apparently every turn I could target another animal. Then during their action I would move the same number of spaces in the same direction as them. I guess that could be useful, though it seemed like I couldn't do much by myself. At any rate, now that I knew my ability, I decided to return to the cafeteria.